Well, I guess we're doing this episode. All right. Welcome to FaBled Hunters. It's gonna be another solo joint today. I promise we will get to the WTR Alpha, but I just am closing out the weekend, just doing some inventory, thinking about the TCG space as a whole. And I went through sorting my extras in Alpha Magic the Gathering, and I just had a general thought that I wanted to share with the Flesh and Blood collectors, with the MTG collectors, and just general TCG collectors as a whole. I've gone through this before. I've even shown this Alpha deck before. You can tell it's Alpha, Magic the Gathering Limited Edition Alpha. By the lack of serial number there, it's sealed inside. It's the real deal. It's nice, and it comes with provenance as well. That said, these Alpha decks at the peak, the 2021 peak, were selling for publicly as much as $125,000. Privately, I had heard verified transactions of up to $145,000. And, you know, these are probably the scarcest sealed assets on the market in the world right now. You know, more scarce than Pokemon base first edition boxes, you know, the OG Alpha Charizard boxes. These are scarcer than anything right now, and there's said to be less than 200 of these individual Alpha starters on the market. And the reason why I mention this is because this asset has dropped. Whereas it was, call it 125 to 145, I am seeing data points of closed transactions at between 95,000 to 110,000. I would say that provenance obviously helps, you know, when these assets have provenance. And, you know, that's just signaling to me that the most resilient and the scarcest asset on the market is going through a current turbulent and tumultuous time. Now, here we have over 100 gold 9.5 or better, you know, some quads in there, BGS limited edition Alpha assets. Did a little bit of research. I was inspired by a conversation with the Alpha Hoarder himself. Thank you for supporting our channel, just like we support yours, Alpha Hoarder. And it turns out there are 6,078 BGS 9.5 slabs that have ever been made. That, you know, is already inclusive of potential resubs. I have heard 9.5s that were resubbed. People wanted to get quads or 10s. Even had a friend that succeeded in getting a 10 basic out of a 9.5 quad. I've even heard of black labels and been involved in some batches where they happened. Very few, though. Of the listings on the largest marketplace in the world to find these slabs currently, there are 1,442 MTG Alpha slabs. And, you know, worldwide, there are, and I did the math on eBay, I looked through all 1,442 listings, and I checked them off over here, you know, these little counting marks, and there are literally just 100, exactly 100 Alpha BGS 9.5 slabs on eBay out of the 1,442. Exactly 6.9% of the assets listed on eBay are 100 slabs, 6.9% are BGS 9.5. And right now, I've taken the time to sort out triple kits as well as quadruple kits, quintuple kits, however you say. I've got backups of these assets. So yeah, just to review, like for example, these are both Plains Bs. They both have, you know, the Plains art on them. Couple of islands. Well, I guess these are quintuple kits. Septuple kits, 7. Oh, oops. Got a lot of islands. So there's that many islands. More islands. Anyways, lands, commons, you get the idea. And I just wanted to review and think about this. Just take the mental exercise of what led to this current price decline. Because as of the filming of this current video, I'm seeing, Silver Age, which is Fallen Empires and beyond, had dropped to sub 50% on some notable key cards. Dual lands have dropped 25+%, and they've kind of stabilized. Arabian Nights, I'm looking at Arabian Nights, especially the graded assets of Arabian Nights, have dropped 40+%. MTG Alpha, limited edition Alpha, the slabs are resilient, but even the slabs have dropped by 20 to 25% on average. Yeah, so that's really interesting. And I'm even seeing the listings of the BGS 9.5s, the gold label ones. The commons, the uncommons, they're dropping by 20+% as well. Sometimes even upwards of 30 to 50% in some cases where there's a lot of competition. And I don't know the answer. I don't know what I'm going to do with my triple kits and my extras. But I was just wondering, is there some sort of moral imperative from my end, or is there some sort of obligation from my end because I have a not small position? These are just the golds. I've said before that the non-golds, the overall total position size might be close to 10% of, the graded alpha assets. And if I just unloaded my duplicates, we would, we would be looking at just, doubling all of eBay in terms of size, scale, volume. And honestly, these are not, these are not cheap. These come at, $500 to $1,000 a slab right now listed. And that's already after the decline. That's already after the drop. Something like Llanowar is hella cool. I don't know. I don't know what to do right now. Truth be told, I'm in a position where I am, risk off of these assets because limited edition alpha prior to 2020 or as of 2020, I think due to that crazy trough, that flash crash of all high-end reserve list, vintage, everything in TCGs, everything, all the way down to alpha, crashed by 50 or more % in almost a 2-week time period. I capitalized on that, and everybody who was around in 21 knows about the spike, late 2020 spike, early 2021 spike. And I liquidated whatever I felt was good while the going was good. And this is all, this is just a little part of what remains, and it is all gravy or upside. So I'm, again, risk off. But I just, thought about it. I did the mental exercise. What responsibilities do large position holders have? I'm not trying to compare myself to Rudy or Open Boosters or anything like that, but in terms of certain pockets, certain vintage, sets, are certain positions in certain sets of Magic the Gathering, I might have the same or even potentially more of an asset than them. And the question is, what do I do? Do I double the float, double the volume of this asset on the market at any given time? What would that look like? I would venture to say there's a good 35 to 50 active parties that are listing on eBay, that are selling on the Facebook groups. What if I just unleashed this? What if, I went from the triplicates to the duplicates and then to the singles? Because let's be honest here. Truth be told, there was a sea change that happened ever since Magic 30. That's why I've got this. That's why I've got this troll playmat up there. I didn't give up my troll playmat. I flew all the way to Las Vegas to go celebrate 30 years, and you know, they reprint the reserve list, I guess. They, you know, disgrace everything that Bottom Water, you know, Mark Bottom Water had said. You know, high and mighty Mr. Rosewater, you know, he knows everything. He's one of the creators. He's been there since the 90s for MTG. And, you know, during this time, there are a lot of the smart money is just liquidating, because we've gone through the worst time. Even limited edition alpha and other assets in Magic are recovering. I've had multiple conversations, some with alpha hoarders, some with others that have high positions. They're like, get out. It's probably not going to look any better. Just look at what Hasbro Wizards of the Coast is doing. I don't know. I don't know if this is, if it's ethical or responsible for me to just unload. You know, I would say of the 35 to 50 parties, I probably know 25 or more of the parties that have these assets. Some of them are consigners, some of them are dealers, some of them have families. There's still some of them with families that are dealers that, you know, do illegal stuff like pump, you know, heritage auctions and other auction houses, pump graded video games and, you know, transact deals in Whole Foods parking lots where they're stealing, you know, mid six figures of goods and getting found guilty of that in a court of law. I've done episodes on that. There was a lawsuit in Magic the Gathering about cards worth over $500,000. Defendant's testimony that he resold the collection to buyers in a Whole Foods parking lot for $135,000 cash in July 2018 has no record of this sale is not credible. You know, there are others that are selling rebacks. There's just such a big cast of characters, and then I just have to weigh it out. Or alternatively, is that not my problem? You know, if, let's say, just expand it. Let's say I had 20, 30, 50% of all the alpha cards in the world. Let's just pretend. And I said, you know what, there's 3% of the alpha cards available right now for sale. And I just made sure that there was 10x the supply. What would I do? Maybe I list everything at 90 or 80% market, because truth be told, I looked up the 100 listings, and the 109.5 listings, you know, these assets, there are fewer than these assets available all across eBay around the world. And they've been price reduced very aggressively, and they've still been sitting there for probably 6 to 12 months easily. And I introduced this. It compresses the price. The 9.5s are the top asset. Therefore, the 9s, the 8.5s, the 8s, the 7s, which are flooding on the market. There hasn't been 1,400 plus. There hasn't been 1,000 slabs. There wasn't 1,000 slabs of alpha available in 2019, 2020, or 2021. But it's all coming to the forefront. Right now, there are certain, you know, sub-population 5 assets that are being listed. There was a Population 1, BGS 10, Lord of the Pit, that sold for over 105,000, I think, just a couple weeks ago. I happen to know the buyer and owner now of that card. But that's one. That's, you know, a complete and extreme outlier. What about the rest? What about these assets that are, you know, were minimum 1,000 to 3,000 to some of these $5,000 at one point. You know, I think bolts were going for 3+, 4+, crazy amounts. And, you know, now they're down. What would happen if I increase the supply? What type of compression would happen on the market? And is it fair? Is it fair to the people that are trying to make a living, trying to, you know, get by? There's some consigners that work off of 10% margins. Some of the very same consigners with a lot of the float on the market, they were the ones when I came into Magic the Gathering, you know, were like, oh, why are you such an idiot in collecting revised? Well, guess what? I stopped collecting revised and I bought the largest available lots of alpha. How you like me now? And, well, on the other side, here I am, like, there's a dilemma here. What do? Do I liquidate this? Do I double, triple, quadruple, quintuple, and just keep pushing it and look after self-interest and optimize my additional upside. And I mean, at the same time, you know, we are in a post Magic 30 environment where they've already shown, the executives of Hasbro have shown that they don't care. They don't care about the collector base. The only reason they even care about the secondary market is because they care about how many times they can hit the Black Lotus, hit the dual lands, hit the Power 9, you know, with their fake proxy back cards. Maybe they'll, you know, reprint Juzam Jin or Library of Alexandria. And that has to be a reason why the smart money, and I'm not calling myself smart money because I'm, you know, sitting here just having this dilemma. What do I do? What, you know, is there a fiduciary responsibility holding a non-zero position? Because this right here is already over 1.5%. If it's 6,000, you know, 100 plus slabs, 100 slabs is 1.7, 1.6 something percent, 1.69% of the global population of 9.5s. And there are more. What do I do with the more? What do I do? I mean, I don't think I have any moral obligation to support Magic or support Alpha anymore. And this is it. This is, you know, something. There was a sea change in November of 2022. And, you know, I mean, think about it from an evil investor way. There could be a world where I listed a whole bunch. I compressed all of the other valuations. I compressed the competitors' listings. And, you know, if I went negative 10 or 15 or 20% and all of that was not picked up, the people that needed to would list it even lower. And then I could, you know, get positions for even lower than what I was listing them for. And I don't know, but that's evil investor talk. So again, I've taken these out. I have not done anything with these cards yet, but I'm just thinking, I'm just doing the math, thinking about it. And I myself am honestly disillusioned with how Hasbro, WotC has handled Magic the Gathering. You know, actions speak louder than words in terms of their treatment of Dungeons and Dragons and that community. I also feel that there's more pain on the way after February 16th, which is their 2022 Q4 reports. They might obfuscate some numbers, as they, you know, executives obviously are willing to do, to save their asses, you know, cover their asses, keep their jobs, make sure that they've got that fat executive comp. But, you know, I don't think that just printing out some oil-slicked WotC jizz special presentation cards in Phyrexia, all will be one, is going to save the IP of Magic the Gathering. I just don't. So, anyways, that was a long rant. I just wanted to get into it, talk about it, think about it, and solicit your opinions. So, let me know. Knocking on wood. Yuanji should be back at the next episode. I think he's recovered now. He made it to the calling, so I'll have to ask him how he did. But thanks for tuning in. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, twiddle that notification button, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Here's a thought. I don't have any answers to the MTG dilemma, but at least I have some answers to this. I've been doing something, call it a little habit, a little ritual at every single major with Emperor J-Dubs of the Wizard Clan. I've been very fortunate during his sessions to get a couple of these pieces signed. Now, there are certain non-altruistic parties that take a signature and try to monetize it, but I think that is not the intent. I think that every single piece that he signs is special, and we, as adult gentlemen, fathers, husbands, you know, successful business people, have that set understanding that it's about respect, it's about appreciation, and I'm planning, after I get some personal business taken care of in the APAC region, to fly to a upcoming event, also in APAC, to see Mr. White. I am confident that within my lifetime and within James's lifetime of being involved with this game, that promises will not be broken, because he and his colleagues are definitely not the type of people that would sell out their community, their honor, and their integrity to some shareholders who don't care. Long live LSS, and long may Fab reign.